We're going to discuss with Sheraz Farooqi, a film critic. Welcome back to the program. He's also a member of the Critics' Choice Association and host of the Farooqi Brothers podcast. All right. So we've got this movie. A lot of people are talking about it. This is kind of a must-see for the holidays for a lot of people, but mixed reaction from the critics. Why is that?
Yeah, Thanksgiving is a great time for movies, and Universal Studios knew that releasing Wicked this time is going to bring a lot of money. And from a critic perspective, it's a little more mixed than the first movie. From me personally, I thought it was still a lot of fun. It's carried by powerhouse performances by Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. But I do think from a critic perspective, the film has a slightly bit more narrative gaps than the first movie. I think part of it is adapting a play as iconic as Wicked on Broadway. You divide the movie in half, and each half of the movie in a Broadway sense is meant to be seen in one shot. But in a movie sense, you've divided into two parts and you waited a full year in between. So some of the narrative, you have to kind of play catch up with the audience. And that creates a little bit more of a lag compared to the first movie, which has a much more cohesive runtime throughout.
Right. They should do a double feature. They should play the first one and make it a whole day, right?
They definitely are, yeah.
Okay, so the musical has been out for 20 years, and, it exploded last year with the release of the first one. So why do you think that the story still demands and draws such a big crowd? Because we are really seeing a surge.
Yeah, I mean, in general, anything to do with The Wizard of Oz, I mean, you're speaking to multiple generations, people who fall in love with it across the board. And I think Wicked, the movie, it really speaks to Gen Z. It speaks to the heart of what they're looking for, what the youth is looking for. So you're not only bringing in new people, you're bringing in all the people who grew up with the Broadway show, and you bring up the original fans of Wizard of Oz. So you create this cohesion of everyone showing up, and it creates that four-quadrant film. Yeah,
people are still talking about The Wizard of Oz. You've got what's going on at the Sphere in Las Vegas, right? And now there's talk of a third movie. I mean, we're just getting into the second here. What about a third? What are you hearing?
Listen, I'm not sure how much more IP there's left to mine for the studios, but when it comes to making this much money, like I said, projected $200 million over the weekend, they'll find a way to make more money whether it's remaking Wizard of Oz entirely or creating a brand new story that touches outside of the Broadway show's scope. I do think that they'll be hard-pressed not to make more Wicked.
Okay, so we also like to talk to you about what's happening at the box office overall. October had a really bad month. In fact, it was the worst month since 1997. So what are we talking about in terms of other movies? What can we expect people going to the box office? And you're right, holidays are really a good time to get people into the theater.
Yeah, it's been a very weak fall for Hollywood, but I do think it's going to be picking up now with Wicked doing amazing during Thanksgiving. We have Avatar that's coming out later, closer to Christmas time, which is also going to do huge numbers. So I think there are some blockbusters left that are going to make some money, but I do think there's a lot of smaller films that also have their place to shine and people are going to be showing up for, especially as we get closer to award season.
All right, give me two.
I think Marty Supreme, starring Timothée Chalamet, I think that's going to be on a lot of people's #1. And Hamnet from Chloe Zhao, that's coming out this Thanksgiving. It's a fictional retelling of Shakespeare's story.
Okay, one more question. If I only have time to go see one movie before the end of the year, what am I seeing?
Between the two, it's definitely Marty Supreme, if not Avatar.
All right, very good. Always great to have you on the program, and you've got a podcast too with the Farooqi brothers, right?
Farooqi brothers.
All right, Sheraz Farooqi. Thank you very much for joining us today, and happy holidays to you. Thank you for being here.